Hey, what is up, guys? Blunt Guts here. This is a Watch Your Own's video. Thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I do appreciate it. Please do like and subscribe if you do enjoy my content. And good God, look what we all woke up to this morning. I was getting ready to post a video today about how they were taking too long to put the banners up this weekend. And then we can see why. I mean, oh my God, they really just dropped one on us here. Hex, Valderon, not to mention that, but look at the other hero on the Hex banner. It's Ferssi, who is incredibly important if you want to progress in Guild Boss 2. I thought they were going to be putting out a banner last week in the middle of the week for Lizard Day, whatever that is, where they were going to be dropping Ferssi in there. And she was the one that I was going to tell everybody to pull for. She didn't show up then, but she's showing up now. I feel like whatever happened with their release, the updated version that they were supposed to release last week, that it kind of screwed up their banner plans for whatever reason. So they're dropping all these, or maybe they're just trying to combat the leakers. I'm not sure. But either way, we've got some shit that we had no idea was coming. Hex and Ferssi, both amazing heroes. Valderon, the other hero on this banner is Admiral Claw, who's like, not really somebody that I would be pulling for specifically, but I will be pulling despite him being on the banner. Now, I'm not going to have all that much because, hell, we get a crazy ancient banner every other week at this point. And I'm a little bit concerned about the rate at which they're putting out these mega banners. I don't know if it's a cash grab. I'm not sure what's going on. But whenever a game starts to do this kind of thing, it starts to kind of raise my hackles a bit. I start to get a little bit suspicious, a little bit nervous, because you got to wonder what is driving their need to kind of push spending so hard. But maybe this is just the new normal for us, and we're just going to move forward like this. Every couple weeks, we'll get an ancient banner with somebody we actually want to pull for, and we'll never be able to save any of our ancients. That's kind of what I'm getting from this. But crazy weekend. I'm going to give you some advice on what I think you should do, depending on your account. Obviously, this is subject to change. But I'd say on this banner, if you don't have Hex, if you don't have Ferssi, well, really, I should say, if you don't have Hex A5 and you don't have Ferssi, then you should definitely be pulling. I don't think you need upgrades of Ferssi at all. We can take a look at her awakenings real quick, because I'm not even all that familiar with them. So this is her passive here. So this is whenever an ally in range receives AoE damage, their received healing is increased by 20% for 15 seconds. This effect can be triggered one time every 35 seconds. So, I mean, that's interesting. When Sands Bestowal is triggered, restores HP equal to 40% of Fersi's attack for the target. I mean, that's not bad. It's not game-breaking by any means, but certainly would be nice to have. 300 attack on the A2. A3 is, once again, this Sands Bestowal thing. The trigger interval of Sands Bestowal reduced by 5 seconds. That's nice. Before, it is how much? Every 35 seconds. I'm not sure if that's including skill ups or not, but probably not, I would guess. Then Rage Regen Auto +1 at A4, which is decent for a healer. And then finally at A5, increase healing multiplier by 20% for 10 seconds after receiving AoE damage. So I assume that means that he has to receive the AoE damage, but if it's his healing multiplier, that's going to help everybody else out as well, right? So not too shabby, but I don't think you need to get him A5. This guy, on the other hand, oh boy, the more awakenings, the better, I can say from experience. Let's just go take a look at my Hex, right? Why are we looking at this gallery Hex? I'm going to show you my Hex, who I personally think is one of the best built Hexes in the game. Really just a badass unit. I've also got his exclusive artifact at level 19, thanks to the Guild Boss 2 rewards, finally giving me some Mythic Artifact Essence luck, or I should say Mythic Artifact Essence Shard luck. I finally got to 30 on that. So here is our Hex, right? And man, he is just such a badass. I love Hex so much. So let's take a look at his gear right here. Well, we don't have to look at his gear. What am I talking about? We don't need to look at his gear. We can look at the stats. Stats-wise, I've got him building triple attack percent on the right-hand side. Obviously, all the pieces have crit damage on him, but he is a baller, straight up baller, one of the highest damage units in the game, arguably I think the highest single target damage dealer in the game, particularly once you get more awakenings on him. And if you're talking about overtime rather than burst, his burst ain't bad either, don't get me wrong. I've seen him hit for over 1 million in Nightmare Void Rift, but he does work. He was a key part of my final Void Rift epilogue stage clear that I got done somewhat recently. You can go check out that video, but really just an amazing, amazing hero. His awakenings are some of the best in the game. So A1, during the effect of Mad Truth, which is his ultimate, there is a chance to draw the Fool, and the Fool is 1500% damage and 75% slow and burning. For 5 seconds, and it is amazing. The Fool is a badass card to pull, especially when you have the exclusive artifact, and it is just churning through those over and over again. 300 attack on the A2, which is more impactful for marksmen than probably anybody else because they typically have lower base attack than anybody else, meaning that this 300 really ups the total amount of attack that he can get, because remember, that is base attack. That is not just plus 300 attack. We look at the A3. During the effect of Mad Truth, performs basic attack against targets inflicted with burning, extends the duration of Mad Truth by 1 second, up to a maximum increase of 30 seconds. That means that his ultimate can go, if you get enough basic attacks in, for a total of 1 minute and 5 seconds. And I can say from experience that if you have Rage Regen on your team, let's say an Elowin or a Hollow, that you will end up being close to, like, let's say like 60% rage by the time this wears off, meaning that you've got like 80+% uptime on his ultimate, which is why he does such ridiculous damage, or one of the reasons anyway. I mean, he's great. Even without that, he's great. But oh my God, Hex is just one of, if not my favorite hero in the game. And I definitely think you should be pulling 5% penetration on the A4. I wish it was 8%. I feel like it's 8% a lot of the time. I don't know why he gets shortchanged a little bit. Probably because he's really overpowered. But still, an amazing A4 lets him ignore a percentage of the enemy's magic resist, which is awesome. And then finally, each draw returns 1 card of fate and increases each damage dealt by the Joker and the Fool by 30%. So since those both hit 3 times, that's a 90% damage increase. Now, granted, the Joker hits for 400% 3 times, so that goes from 1200% to 1290%. The Fool hits for 1500%. It goes up to, what, 1590%, so almost 1600%. He's insane. You really, if you don't have him at least A3, you really need to be pulling. And I would argue, just from my own experience, going up to A5 was 100% worth it. Such a good hero. If you don't have him, you are at a disadvantage in most of the PvE areas in the game. He is in most of my teams. Anytime there's single target damage to be done, he is my guy that I go to. So honestly, I think unawakened, he's probably not, but when you start getting him up to like A3 or so, aside from like I said earlier, burst scenarios, he clears Silas in my opinion, as far as a single target damage dealer. And that bears out in, like, say, Nightmare Guild Boss. You can really see the effect that he has on a team, especially, like I said, if you do have this exclusive artifact, which basically speeds up the rate at which he draws these cards that give him extra damage. So just really great hero. All right, so that is the normal banner. Let's just take a look at this one right here. We don't care about Admiral. I'm not even going to touch on him. I think he's a fine hero from what I know. I don't have him personally, so I can't really speak to his efficacy, but I can say that there is, just everything that I've seen is that he's very meh. Like I wouldn't be happy about pulling him as an ancient exclusive. I think he's a fine hero, but he's just not somebody that you want to be getting from the rarest shards in the game. Valderon, on the other hand, is a different beast. He is a crazy hero, especially if you can get him up to A3, where during Chaotic Vitality, the hero's attack ignores 50% of the target's defense, so he gets kind of a mini Silas effect. Just a crazy hero. Speaking of ridiculous single target damage dealers, he's up there. I mean, he is up there, competes with Ingrid and Praetus and Hex, and like, he is one of the best single target damage dealers in the game. Honestly, his AoE is not bad at all either, and he's a Chaotic Lord, which is something that I personally really need on my account. I've only got Vladov, and I could really use a Valderon or a Gon in order to enable some of my Chaos units. I would love that. Could also use some more Chaos units, honestly, but it's one of the factions that I am missing personally. Really just a crazy hero. And it's only been about a month since I guess almost 2 months, I guess, actually, right? So I think his banner came at the end of June, if I'm not mistaken. End of June, beginning of July, something like that. I think it was end of June, because I think that Praetus came in the middle of July, and so it was 2 weeks before then. But either way, it's only been about a month and a half to 2 months since we had the Valderon banner, and oh my God, I can't believe they brought it back. I thought we were going to have to wait like 6 months for this, but it's a whole new world in Watcher of Realms. So I would recommend that you pull if you don't have Valderon, certainly. Even if you do have him, Awakenings wouldn't be an awful idea, but given how scarce those shards are, I would probably hold off unless you are a spender, a big spender, and you're going to buy a bunch of ancient shards, and spending them on this banner does not mean that you're sacrificing pulling out another banner later. As far as Hex and Ferssi, I mean, if you don't have Ferssi, I think you need to be pulling on this banner. I would pull and try to get a Ferssi. I think if you have A3 or less Hex, you should be pulling by default as well. Now, granted, we've got some other banners that are coming up in the future. We've got, allegedly, there is a Lust Arrogance banner, probably another month or two down the road. We've also got Numera and Zayas, I think. Xavius. I'm not sure exactly what his name is, but there's a Curse Cult Summoner that's coming out, as well as Numera, who's a anti-air fighter in the Piercer faction that's coming out. Both of them look like they're decent heroes. I've tested Numera a bit, and I think she's going to be very good because she has a true damage component to her kit. I haven't tested the Curse Cult Mage, whatever his name is, and I can't speak to whether or not he's going to be good, but they are both on the horizon, and I think Numera at minimum is going to be worth getting. I don't think she's going to clear, like, say, Lust and Arrogance, but she is going to be really good, I think, based on my preliminary testing. And yeah, I think, honestly, I think you got to be pulling on this if you don't have either one of these heroes, if you're missing either one of these heroes, if you're missing Hex Awakenings. The only reason I'm not going to be pulling is because I have my Hex at A5 already. And I mean, I'm kind of lucky. I'm in a spot where I've beaten all the content in the game, but Hex is an incredible progression champion. So if you do not have him, definitely be pulling. If you're trying to progress in GB2, make sure you get that AoE reduction from Ferssi, which is just unparalleled. There's nothing else like it in the game. Let me see if I can just pull it up real. This is a Sand Aegis, applies AoE damage reduction to allies in range. It goes up to 25% total, which is just nutty, because all the damage, or a lot of the damage anyway, in Guild Boss 2 is AoE, and he is going to help you out a lot. So with that said, I hope this was helpful to you guys. Please do like and subscribe if you did enjoy this content, and I will catch you all next time.